Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This is going to be of the Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. FIguarts Naruto Shippuden Sasuke Uchiha, he who bears all hatred. I don't know why I decided to say it in an edgy voice like that, but I have Sasuke here. A little over a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago, I reviewed the new Naruto figure, and I still haven't gotten to see the show yet.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, I know. I will get to it eventually. This upcoming summer season of new releases of anime doesn't seem too interesting to me, so maybe it's time to give this show a try. I bought these figures without watching the show because I really want this line to succeed for people who are fans of the show and really like the previous SH FIguarts figures and want these new ones. I did pre-order Kakashi when that dropped almost a week ago. And just saying it right here, right now, if you want someone's more well-informed opinion on Naruto, who just reviewed this figure, check out Ace, aka Animated Heroes review. I left the link down in the description below. Anyway, let's go ahead, take a look at the packaging here. Top half here, you can see the figure in the box contents that it comes with. It does say SH FIguarts in the top left. You get to see a little bit of an image right there on the right of the figure. Some lines basically painted on there, kind of like what we had with the Naruto figure from the last time I reviewed this. Bottom half, Tamashii Nations quality sticker, Sasuke Uchiha, he who bears all hatred. I think you're supposed to say Studio Pierrot. I think that's the pronunciation. I could be wrong. If you know, please let me know down in the comments. But that's the sticker for that. Naruto Shippuden, Tamashii Nations Bandai logos there. On this side, it does say Sasuke and he who bears all hatred. And right here, it does have on the very top SH FIguarts. Bottom there, you can see an image of Sasuke. On this side, again, just says Sasuke, as well as SH FIguarts, and a more of a full body image of the figure with some of his different accessories. On the top, it's actually just a read-up of the SH FIguarts line, if you want to pause and read that right now. Top left there, that is at the SH FIguarts logo. Right here, again, SH FIguarts Sasuke, as well as an image of the figure. When we look on the back of the packaging, just giving you a wide shot here, you can see what's going on. Now we look towards the top half, all these different accessories with different parts, different poses you can get Sasuke into. Bottom half here, a bunch of information, including the support website, as well as a barcode in case you need it, ages 15 and up and whatnot. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here is Sasuke out of the packaging. Overall, very cool figure. Haven't gotten to mess around with him too much, but right out of the box, I can say it's a pretty solid figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories this figure comes with, and we'll take a close look at the figure. Like always, we have an operation manual for Sasuke. Shows you how to use some of the different faces, his hands, even the Chidori effect, how to use that. You flip it to the back, you can see how you can use some of the interchangeable hands and whatnot for the sword and popping it in and out of its sheath and whatnot. So this figure, I believe, is 20 bucks more than Naruto, but as you can see, he comes with a lot more stuff compared to Naruto. First of all, let's talk about the Chidori effect first. The way that it's painted is done very similarly to the Rasengan effect, where you have this blue translucent plastic, and then when you get closer to the end here, and it has this like very white, white and blue paint scheme going on here, like almost like frost on there. Now, unlike with Dragon Ball figures where hands, there's like holes and whatnot for the fingers, for the hands to hold that, instead you just plug this whole thing with this bare wrist peg, and voila, it stays in there. So, and you can't even tell that the hand is missing. So that's actually pretty sick. And overall, it is sculpted really nice, I think. Maybe be careful. It is a pretty soft plastic, but just be careful in case you want to, you're going to accidentally rip some things off. And it's not too sharp with some of these spikes that it has on here. What I really like is how they did the sword. They have this part here that's completely sheathed, which we'll talk about the belt accessory for that in a second. Looking really nice. All the pieces of the swords look very similar, especially when it comes to all the sheathed parts and whatnot. So all that looks really good. A little bit of a separation right there from when he grabs the handle. Here's the full sword, which it has some really nice silver paint on the blade. This looks incredible. I really like how that came out. And then as you can see, it's just a plain black paint and sculpt for the handle, but still looks good. Now, with this one here, essentially it's a slightly open version. What you're going to do with this? So it's as if he's about to unsheath it. And of course, again, you could pop that in, slip that through the belt hole right there, as if he's about to pull it out. And then when he has his sword out, like he's holding it in his hands, you just take that out and it looks like it's unsheathed. So that's cool. So while we're on the topic of this thing here, this is an alternate belt piece here that has a ball joint. The idea, so as you can see, there's some separation of the plastic on the back. Pop that off. Hope I'm doing this right. Pretty sure I am. I could be doing it a little. No, I'm doing it right. It's just a little difficult for me to pop that in for now. And it's not on there all the way. I'll have to fix that later. But you can make that work, I think. So, and it's on a ball joint, so you can make it swivel a little bit if you wanted to. I think that's very, very cool. We have some open, sprawled hands for posing. Let's zoom in a little bit more here. And when it comes to the skin tone, it's a similar approach to how they did Naruto. It's, molded in the skin tone, but there is a little bit of some details in there, like mostly the fingernails, to give it a little bit of detail and whatnot. Looking really nice. So those just sprawled out. These are more clenched hands, as you can see there. Looking nice. Now these are normal sword holding hands that are molded. You can see the grooves are molded in a certain way since it's very much like a square for the handle. But then we also have another set of these hands, this time with the thumb sticking out. So that's really sick. Last but not least, when it comes to the hands, because I got to talk about the faces, we also have some relaxed hands. So these are pretty sick too. And you can actually see the fingernails pretty well on these as well. Now this is the part I might end up butchering the most. You have the Sharingan eyes here for Sasuke, and of course he comes packed with the normal face, and he also has the fists, of course, I forgot to mention that. But these are really nicely printed eyes. They look fantastic. A little bit of scrunches for his, and creases around his eyes, like close to his nose and eyebrow right there. Really nice. You do have a little bit of some white for teeth in his mouth right there, looking really nice. Skin tone's done really well as the ears have some pretty nice sculpting on there. Next up, you have the Mangekyo Sharingan eyes. I believe that's how you're supposed to say that. These look great too, and he has a more gritting teeth expression, much angrier. You can see the teeth right there, the separation of the teeth with that line right there. And even some more creases like around the outer parts of his eye, like around where my thumbnail is. All of that looking really good. Last but not least, this face here, much angrier, shouting expression with a Rinnegan eye on the left there. This looks really good. The mouth color, looking really nice. The separation of the white for the teeth and the red for the mouth is done really well. I have no idea if this is the same color that they used for the shouting faces for Naruto. I don't have that on me right now. But, yeah, all these faces looking really, really good. Really nicely printed eyes and really good detail. Not just with the faces, with the other accessories too. So the first thing about Sasuke I want to talk about, which is a slight negative, if you look close enough at the neck, the skin tone on the neck, and you look, the rest of his exposed chest, it looks a lot, it's not very consistent. It's just more matte, as you can see. I wouldn't say it's glossy in the neck, but it's a lot more matte when it comes to the paint finishes and whatnot. I mean, it's clearly paint there for the neck. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of paint, but it's mostly molded in this color here for this chest piece. So they had to paint this like that because it's all one piece. So I get that. I'm not entirely knocking the figure there. There's just one thing that caught my eye. It's not the biggest deal. It's a little distracting, but I mean, the rest of this looks really good. So with that out of the way, that minor nitpick, we do look at this face. I think it looks really good. I like the more neutral expression with the eyes here looking really nice. And his hair, the sculpting of detail in the hair looking really nice too. Pretty spiky here in the back. This is a bit sharp, a bit uncomfortable when you want to move that around, so just be careful. But other than that, I believe it has the similar hair like Naruto, where this bottom part here is sculpted onto the neck. So that way you have a lot more space separated in the hair there, so you can actually make him look up a bit more. We do have these zippers, which actually have some silver painted on there, looking really good. Nice wrinkles, as you can see, in the armpits and whatnot of the figure. Forgot to take this out. And let's see. Popping this part on is much easier than the alternate part. So that's something to take note. The symbol here on the back, looking really good. Really consistent paint, looking really good. There's no splotching or anything on there. I dig that with the dark red, the white. And that's sculpted on there too. You can see the indents of the sculpting. So that's really sick. We do have the, the skin tone here is consistent with like the neck and whatnot. So there's that. I said this was painted. I think there's like a certain coat of paint on here, but it is mostly, you can just tell it's mostly molded in this color, but it doesn't look bad, and it doesn't have as much paint apps as like something like, well, I'm trying to see what would be painted. So this, I think, this softer plastic has some black shading in here that's a little bit subtle, so there's that. It's not necessarily a bad thing that there's not that many paint apps, as long as I think it looks good and consistent. Like all the coloring here for the shirt is consistent, so that's cool. You have these, these armbands and whatnot sculpted on there. They feel actually more like a soft plastic. I could be wrong. I think that this also feels like a soft plastic, so I think this is all one piece. There's the hands, as you can see, these fists that he came packaged with. Now we get down. Let's back out a little bit, actually. We get down to the lower half of the torso. And like I said, we have this soft plastic skirt piece that actually is pretty dark down here. It's a little bit brighter blue up here. I mean, not extremely bright, but the shading makes it look much darker, as you can see, with some wrinkles sculpted in there, and then a little bit of a cut separation here, so that way it doesn't restrict articulation. And we also have the really cool stuff going on with the belt, actually. All this going on here is a bit on a ball joint and with some hinging, so that's really sick. I think it's mostly, but yeah, this is mostly a ball joint, not really any hinging when it comes to the articulation. But it all looks really nice, nicely sculpted. It's mostly molded in a purple. I think it's painted purple in some areas. So, what can we see with his lower legs? Well, it's just mostly, I'm trying to lift up this skirt. As you can see, it looks a little bit brighter on the inside because there's no paint shading there. But a very dark blue pants, as you can see, with a few wrinkles, mostly toward the calves. Then we get down to the sandals, as you can see, especially around the ankles, just mostly a black sculpt with a little bit of wrinkling going on there. And the toes here has a similar thing with what I was talking about here. So when we look a little closer, you can see a bit of a different skin tone right here on the top of the feet compared to the toes, because they actually painted the toes. It looks a little sloppy, if you ask me. It looks like there's some pieces sticking out there, which I think that is how it's supposed to be sculpted. So it looks a little weird. I really don't mind it too much, honestly. It's not, the only reason why I'm noticing it is because I have it zoomed in on the camera. When you're looking at it, just standing on your shelf, it's not going to be too noticeable. But the treading on the bottom of these sandals are really sick as well. So let's go ahead, one more time, back up on Sasuke. Give him a quick 360. With any details I might have missed, you can see here. Maybe the back there. There's not much going on there. Articulation for this is very similar to Naruto's, especially with the, how I mentioned the hair piece here is sculpted on to the neck. It is on a ball joint, so it can, go a little bit side to side. Swivel a bit up and down is not that amazing, but you do get some assistance from the neck here. So it allows for all this different range of motion. Going up and down and whatnot. So that's good. A little bit of a, butterfly joint here, which is a little bit tight on my figure. Looks like this piece right here wants to separate a little too much, but it does also go all the way around at the arms. I believe it swivels up in there too, grabbing this part, but also swivels here, so you can swivel this part as well and move all this to be consistent and whatnot. So lots of swiveling going on there. Double jointed elbows, which I think the shirt gets in the way a little bit. We do have the standard wrist pegs for S.H. FIguarts, in and out here. Rotate it at two areas. You can make it go up and down. Ball jointed waist. swivels here to here. Forward and back could be a little bit better, but you also get a different swivel at the actual waist. So it allows for all this range of motion. This is a separate piece that I'm digging into right now too. Allows for all this range of motion right there. So, wow, really good torso articulation. Because of how the, this piece is separated a little bit in the skirt, it can move forward with not much resistance, so that's good. The back is not great, though, because of how it might actually be the sculpting, like something in the butt might be keeping it. Yeah, I think the butt sculpt it might be keeping it a little bit, but also doesn't help that this skirt piece is getting in the way. In and out just fine. We do have a upper thigh swivel as well. We do have double jointed knees. These look great. And they look consistent too, so they don't look too distracting. Like when it comes to the sculpting in there. And paint too. We do have a swivel at the ankle, so that's sick. It's mostly at the calf, really. And we have a separate swivel here at the actual ankle, so there we go. It's actually on a ball joint, it feels like, so that's really awesome. Up and down movement. The up is awesome for the ankle. Down really good too, which I just popped that out, but you can pop that in just as easily. Ankle rocker that looks a little bit more like the traditional like Marvel Legends style pivot where it just goes side to side, but it is basically a rocker. And then you do get toe hinge. Forgot to mention, again, the ball joints in the belt there. You can move this all around. And yeah, that's just really sick. Really good articulation and not much hindering going on here. For size comparisons on the right, we have the new Naruto with Sasuke here in the middle. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're both supposed to be about the same height. So it's a little weird seeing Naruto, I think, is a little bit taller than Sasuke here, but they both look good next to each other. On the left, that is the S.H. FIguarts Jujutsu Kaisen Megami Fushiguro, which is going to be considerably taller than Naruto figures. Far left, that's Black Suit Spider-Man. Far right, that's going to be Star Wars The Black Series Mandalorian, which Spider-Man not really towers, but is taller than all of them. And the Mando is a little bit taller than the Naruto figures. Overall, a really awesome figure here. My biggest gripe, which isn't that big of a gripe, is just that some parts of the skin tone are inconsistent because of some of the paint. Other than that, this is a really fantastic figure with awesome amounts of articulation. Really good sculpting and paint work, not just in the figure, but in the accessories as well. It comes with a lot of hands, really cool face plates, really nice effects pieces, as well as the swords. I really like what they did with the swords. Those are extremely cool. Naruto's back for you Naruto fans. This is a very exciting time to get these Naruto collectibles. Sakura should be out soon. Naruto is also out now, at least on Amiami. Some places like Big Bad Toy Store and whatnot still haven't gotten some of these figures, but they should very soon, with Kakashi pre-orders coming in, trickling in throughout this week and whatnot. And again, really awesome figure. Very happy to have it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the reviews. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.